Good evening and welcome to Masterclass Junior. We are here in our kitchen. I've got my two little helpers. We've got a cracking recipe for you today. We're going to make a really beautiful, simple prawn garlic papridelli, which is thick ribbons of pasta. Now, papridelli you can't buy in the supermarkets much, but I'll show you a great way to make it. But what we're also going to make is the most awesome garlic bread you have ever had. This was one of those light bulb moments I had. I came into work the next day and I tried to explain it to Emily and she was like, "What? Really?" And then she's like, "Oh my God, I need to try that." So when the cameras go off, she's just going to dive in. Right, so first of all, we're going to make some bread dough. Now, Pops, 500 grams, there's 500 grams of flour in there. That will make a loaf of bread. Okay? Now, Tom, you're going to do teaspoon of salt and teaspoon of yeast. Okay?
I'll do it.
Right, let Thomas do full teaspoon. So, full teaspoon, all right? So you want like that much, maybe a little bit more than that. When you buy a sachet of dried yeast, it's 7 grams. So it's usually, or if you buy a pot, you want a good teaspoon, a good sort of, that's quite a small one. Pop it in, and then do a half again. Yeah? That'll do, perfect. Now, when you're adding your salt, try not to put the salt straight onto the yeast because salt will kill yeast, traditionally. So it makes sense just not to put the two together. Now, get your hands in there, Poppy, and just kind of blend it all up. And then Thomas is going to pour in 300 mils of water. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Now, if you're doing this with fresh yeast, and fresh yeast is lovely, and if you can get it, just do half at a time. If you can get fresh yeast, brilliant, go for it. You need to double the weight, so you will need at least 14 grams of fresh yeast to do this bread recipe. If you're feeling really lazy, you could use a bread mix, it's not a problem. Just whack water in it, make it into a great dough, and then do what we're going to do with it. Right, how are we doing?
Good.
Are we good? Awesome. Sometimes it will take more water. Now, if you know, we're on Facebook, the world can be watching, you can be watching anywhere in the world. And if you're not in England, give me a shout. I'd love to know where we're broadcasting and being watched. But if it's warmer where you are, you'll find that the water absorption is more because the flour is swollen up and it will absorb more liquid. So don't be afraid to add a touch more. I'm going to show you what it needs to look like, and that's the really important part, is what the dough looks and feels like. The exact measurement isn't always accurate. How are we doing? Right, just that tiny little bit more. Add half of that, please, Tom. Yeah? Just use it just by eye. There, good. Right, that jug can go over to one side now. You're going to make garlic butter for me. Right, how are you doing? Right, transfer that onto the worktop. Right, just do it, do it on there. Let me get you a little bit of flour so that you don't get too much of a mess.
I'm not going to be able to...
Oh, you'll be all right. Now, a little bit of flour, the smallest amount of flour, and you're going to knead this for 10 minutes. Now, we've got another dough that we've proved, which we're going to show you in a minute, because when you're making bread, it is a long process, so we can't fit it into half an hour. Emily, if you have any questions, or if anybody has any questions, when they come in, just shout them out, yeah?
Well, we've got quite a few people watching with us tonight.
Good. That's always good to hear.
We've got people from New Jersey, Scotland,
Cool.
Florida, Wales.
Wow. A mixed bag. It's like the Eurovision Song Contest, this. Right, keep your sleeves. Right, so when you're kneading dough, Pops, hold it with one hand. No, you don't. Hold it with one hand and push it away.
Yeah, like
Yeah? We've got another dough here. Do you want to go, Thomas? Or are you going to do garlic butter?
Garlic butter.
All right, Poppy. Swap your doughs. Now, this one has proved. Let's just show the audience. Now, imagine Poppy has kneaded that for 10 minutes and left the dough for an hour. And then you can see. Can you see this dough, Emily? I want to just lift this up. Hang on, don't touch it. I want to show you the gluten strands. Can you see that stretch? That is what kneading does. That is the structure of bread dough. And you want to have that structure because that will hold all the air in. Okay? Right. Where's my flour gone? Here's my flour. Right.
flour?
You can. It's not as light and as crisp, but absolutely you can. Or you could do like 50-50 if you wanted to. So there's a little bit of flour there. So just knock the air out, and what I want you to, do you mind if I just knock the air out? You just go and wash your hands, because you're going to end up in a bit of a pickle. And what I'm going to do now is, just while Pops washes her hands, I need your help in a minute. All right? Don't you think you've got away with it? Got to earn your dinner. Right, so can you see? Very little flour. The dough is moving around. I can handle it. I could throw it to Tom. He can catch it, throw it back. Good lad. Right, so what we're going to do, that could have gone horribly wrong, couldn't it? We're all right. I spend a lot of my time throwing bread dough around. Right, so.
I've got a question, Pete.
Yeah.
How would you modify this to use gluten-free flour?
I knew this question was coming. Gluten-free flour is really tough. Gluten-free bread, without adding lots of gums and binders and things like that, is really tough. What I would suggest is, I mean, there are gluten-free bread mixes that have been really cleverly blended, and you could do the same. No, don't do that. Wash your hand. But you don't ever have the stretch, so it is quite hard to do. But you could do this with soda bread recipe, because that relies much less on gluten. But if you have a really, really good gluten-free bread mix or a recipe, use it. Give it a go. I'm going to show you how this makes an amazing garlic bread. You all right, son?
Yep.
You getting up to no good?
Just like to put hands on it.
All right. Right, okay, so.
There's wet on the...
Yep, that's just boiling, ready for our pasta. So, I've got it stuck on me, Pops. There's a tea towel there. Right. Okay, so what I need you to do, Thomas.
Yeah.
Poppy, will you roll all these out into little pizzas for me?
Yes.
So into little circles, yeah? Can you do that?
You need a rolling pin?
You do. I'd like that black one there. Yeah? Let me just show you the first one. So, promise you, bear with me because this will be fab. Okay, so ball of dough, just roll it like that once, twice, and turn it. Yeah? Keep it nice and light and moving. And that's pretty much all we need.
Not too big.
Okay, not too big, about pita bread size. Okay? And if you could just line them up there for me, that would be fab. And me and Thomas are going to make garlic butter. Okay? So we're going to make our garlic butter to go with it. Right, where's my tea towel? There's my tea towel. Right, son, before you get into trouble, get into mischief, let's make garlic bread. Right, grab that chopping board over there, son. Leave the knife there for a second.
Like that size?
Yeah, that's perfect. Bring it over, sunshine.
Yeah.
Right, so I've got butter here, softened at room temperature. Can you see this all right, Emily? Yeah, so I've got mixed Italian herbs going in there. On to here, son. Let's just pop that there a little minute. Right, I've actually got 4 garlic cloves. They're all quite small, okay? Get the garlic crusher.
Yeah.
Yes, he likes to crush things because he's a boy. So we're going to add a little bit of pepper. I'm not going to add any salt because it's salted butter. Right, so with your garlic, because we've got small cloves, you could fit them in. Pop it in. Pop the other one in. So we've got all 3, 4. I'm going to do it in one big squash. And I'm going to get a knife so we can scrape it and then you can stir it together. So we're making our garlic butter recipe. I actually really like capers and parsley and all sorts of stuff in my garlic butter. But these two just like it plain.
It's nicer when you don't add as much stuff, but...
There we go. If I just scrape that off for you there, Tom. Yeah, and I'll just lift that bit out. There we go, because it comes apart really easily. And then we'll just squash that again and get those last little bits through there. Right, if you could get that spoon and give it a really good stir. Mix all the ingredients together. Now, I've got fresh mozzarella here. And we're going to use this with our garlic bread, okay? So what we're going to do is just cut it into pieces. This is good garlic bread. And this is more about the concept of how we make it as well. You can kind of make this how you like. If you want to put a different cheese in it, Brie's amazing. Don't have to put cheese in if you don't want to. Works really, really well. So on each one of these, Thomas, can you put me a spoon, if I show you how much, of garlic butter on 1/2 of the bread? Like that, yeah. Just use your finger, and there you go. And the back of the spoon, and just spread it like that. Yeah? Can you do that? And then we'll take a piece of mozzarella. Think they'll take 2 little slices. Now, I'm using fresh mozzarella ball because I like it. It's stringy, it's really lovely, it's got a bit of texture. You can use other cheeses as well. It doesn't have to be mozzarella. Okay, there we go. Keep going, son. Speed up, mate, speed up. We've got lots to do. So we've got a loaf tin here, non-stick Masterclass loaf tin this, and it's got a really nice textured base on here, which means the bread will come straight out, no problem. And the reason why I'm using a loaf tin is it catches all the butter, all the flavour, nothing goes anywhere. It is a great way to make a loaf of bread, this. Tear and share style, works really, really well. Right, last 2 then, Poppy. You need to save a bit of that, Tom, because you've got 1, 2, 3 more to do. Yeah? Can you do that for me? Quiet today, aren't you, Thomas? You had a busy day at school? Homework started coming now, hasn't it, Pops? Yeah. That'll do. Any questions, Emily? Or are you dozing off there? No. She was dozing off, wasn't she?
I'm just going to sleep.
Oh, no. We know what she's thinking about.
Well, yeah.
Right, okay. So, we're almost at a stage where we're going to pull this garlic bread together. The pasta is quick, so we might have been spending a little bit of time on this, but bear with us because once this gets going, I've got a pan of boiling water there ready, and we'll be off and ready to go. Right, Pops, just hang fire. So, right, I need your help, you two.
It smells good.
Oh, we've missed one.
Some cheese.
That's all right, we can just divide it. If you find that you've missed one, not a problem. We can just rob Peter to pay Paul. Right, hang fire. Okay? So, tiny little bit of seasoning. Tiny bit, yeah? Only needs a tiny bit. Right, Thomas. So, you're involved in this. Stay that side, Pop. Right, so, are we seeing all this here, Emily? Can we cut into the detail of this? Yeah? So, what we've got is a load of circles of bread dough, 1/2 of garlic butter with mozzarella, and what we're going to do is we're going to fold it over like this, kids, yeah? You watching?
Yeah.
So you fold them over and then pop them in the loaf tin like that. Can you see the loaf tin, Emily?
Yeah.
So it's almost like a calzone, and then you lay it that way. Is that better?
Yeah.
So can you do those for me, Thomas? Poppy, what I want you to do is once Thomas has fitted all those in there, I want you to put a little bit of rosemary on. Do you remember how to strip the rosemary branch off? And just sort of sprinkle it on the top. And then I want a nice little drizzle of olive oil. Okay?
Can you do this in advance?
You can. Now, obviously, once the bread starts proving, you need to slow it down. So what I did was I made one of these this morning and I put it in the fridge to prove. So normally you would be told, oh, put it somewhere warm. Let it prove. So if you want to slow the whole process down, make your bread dough, do this, get it to this stage, put it in the fridge and let it prove in the fridge all day. And then when you get home at night, you can then bang it in the oven straight from the fridge.
So I need to put a little...
Once these are all in, just use up those last little bits, put the rosemary on. Right, Tom, let's just shake that down a little bit so we can squeeze them in. Look, you've got 2 more to fit in there. Can you fit them in?
Yeah.
So as they prove, they will fill the loaf tin. Right, that's it. In it goes. So, can you see that, Emily? Do you see you've got all these layers now, and they've got mozzarella and garlic butter in, and it's just going to be amazeballs. It's going to be amazing. So, just pop that garlic butter on, Poppy. Use the back of your spoon, spread it about a little bit, that's fine. And then Thomas will drizzle it with some oil. That's fine, it doesn't need to be exact, it's just to use it up. Because what will happen is it will just soak into the bread as it bakes. So can you drizzle it with a bit of oil, son? And then Poppy, you can do the rosemary. And then we're going to move on to the pasta dish, which, like I say, is really quick. Okay, good lad. Yeah, perfect. Don't go far with that oil because we'll need it for our pasta. All right? Right. So I'm going to leave this to prove. Now, as I said, if you want to slow it down, put it in the fridge. If you want to speed it up, leave it somewhere warm. It'll double in size and then it's ready for the oven. Bake it at 190 degrees for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes maybe. And it'll all be golden and crisp and it'll be beautiful. I've got one in the oven to show you, I can't wait. Right, pop some rosemary onto that then. You don't touch that, Thomas, it's hot. Right, can you carefully get me my chopping knife, please? Yeah? Right, so we're going to cook pasta over here. Can you see this pan here, Emily? I can. Right, cool. Thank you very much. Right, lasagna sheets. Lasagna sheets. Okay, let Thomas do some stuff, please. Right, that needs to go over there to prove. Right, I'm going to cut this open. All right, you take it out of the packet for me. Fresh lasagna sheets is a great way to make pappardelle. All right, pappardelles are really lovely. I really like it. It's like thick ribbons of tagliatelle, but bigger. Okay, can you do that? There we go. Slide it out. Okay, now it's got a sheet of paper between every sheet, and I don't want the paper. So can you unravel, you two over there, unravel them without fighting?
Okay.
Okay. I need the chopping board, please. Right, so we're going to make our prawns with garlic, kids. Are we going to go with chilli or not chilli?
Not with chilli.
Really? What about a tiny bit?
I'll put the tiny bit.
All right, you put a tiny bit in, I'll chop it. Should we taste the chilli? Should we have a chilli off?
No.
Who's going to try the chilli?
I'll try it.
I thought you might. Right, a little bit of olive oil into the pan first. And then we add the butter. And the reason why we do this is it stops the butter burning. Okay? Are you all right, Emily? Camera angles? Great. So, butter in. Now, we're going to make an emulsion-based sauce. So it's about taking butter and the garlic in there. Yeah? Smells good, that, doesn't it? Yeah? Yeah.
Would your hair pasta work?
It does, but it cooks in a heartbeat. So you have to be really, any pasta works. Any pasta. So pile all those up really nice and neat. So, chilli time. Because we're not going to add a lot of heat, I'm actually going to cut it from the tip of the chilli. The seeds are at the top.
Okay,
the seeds and the pith are hot. The tip is not. So we're just going to take a little bit. Thomas is going to have a taste, aren't you?
Oh, no.
Is Poppy going to have a taste?
No. You're old.
Should we have a little taste?
Okay.
Are you ready, Tom? Should me and you taste?
Yeah.
Right, just nibble.
Okay.
Put your tongue on it and that's it. All right, you ready? What do you think? Have a bite? What do you think? Is it all right? It's not too bad, is it? What do you think? Oh, he's gone in for a second bite. Little bit of red chilli in there. Doesn't need a lot.
A quick question.
Have we?
Somebody doesn't like prawns. What other fish would go well?
Absolutely. Smoked salmon works really well. Lobster, if you're feeling really flush. Have a drink of water.
Milk helps.
There's some water there, Tom. Right,
Help the
let me just
prawns.
put these prawns in, then we'll talk about what else you can use, okay? Right, I'm draining, all I've done is I've bought frozen prawns and I've just simply popped them in a jug, in a colander, in the water, and that's it. I know you do. You like your grandma's prawns, don't you? So, the good thing about prawns is you can see them cook really easily. When they're pink, they're cooked. They don't take any time. I've turned the heat right down because I want to talk about pasta.
I'll watch them.
Okay, so pappardelle. So we've got our lasagna sheets. I haven't forgotten about prawns, Emily, don't worry. I'm just going to get this on the go. So we're going to cut like 3 centimetre strips. Okay? And this will give us our pappardelle. How's Thomas? Is he cooled off a bit? Is he messing about? Right, so now, can you see that, Emily?
Yeah.
We've now got these really thick, lovely ribbons of pasta. Okay, they're going to go straight into the pan. And they're going to take about 90 seconds to cook. Just leave that off so I can see what's going on, Pops. I'm going to add some salt to the water. All right, and that'll do. So, can you see the prawns now, Emily? See them cooking?
Yep.
See them turning and changing? Do you want to just grab some tongs, Poppy, and turn those prawns over carefully? Now, what if you wanted to use something instead of prawns? Like I said, lobster, if you've got it. Lucky you. Fresh pieces of salmon would work really well. Scallops would work really well. What else could you have instead of this? You don't even need to add the fish if you don't want to. You could make a really simple, beautiful garlic butter sauce with some fresh basil, a little bit of lemon juice and some starch water. Done. Job done. Right. How are we looking, Pops? So, I've got some lovely fresh basil leaves. You could also use parsley as well. Basil offers a different flavour to parsley, and whichever you prefer. But carefully run your knife through the basil so as not to bruise it, okay? Because we want to taste the basil. If you heavily chop basil, it will bruise and it will go bitter. What we want, you smell that? What does that smell like? What's your favourite pasta sauce? Yeah, exactly. Your favourite pasta sauce, isn't it? Right, so we're now got half a lemon here. We've got our basil. We're ready to finish. Okay. So Thomas, some pepper there. Can you see it in the pepper pot there? Can you put a little sprinkle of pepper in there for me, Sunshine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give it a good sprinkle of pepper.
We're getting pink.
Yeah. Can you see those all right, Emily? Can you see them cooking? Good. Right. Can you cut to the pasta, please? Because I'd just like to show people the pasta. So, the pasta is nearly cooked, but can you see the like little white bits of foam that are coming off that pasta? Oh, right. All right, just move those prawns over there, Poppy, because it's quite important that we see this. So, pop it on here. Pop it on here. No. So, what you find is when you cook pasta, you end up with a sort of a starchy water. So if you can see that, Emily, can you see it's not clear water? It's cloudy. It's because it's got starch in it. Now we're going to add a ladleful and maybe just a touch more and get that foam into our prawns, and that will make us a really beautiful emulsion-based sauce. So if you pop that back on the heat there, Poppy. Yeah, sure.
Can you tear the basil or
Yeah, you can tear it, but you need to be really gentle. So, prawns up to a boil now, and that butter and that water are coming. See how creamy it looks now, Poppy? It looks like cream, doesn't it? Now,
like carbonara kind of.
Yeah, well that's how we make carbonara. So, let's lift our pasta using a pair of tongs. Don't pour it through a colander, because we want to keep the starch that's on this pasta. Okay? There we go. Right, let's turn that down. Now, Thomas, can you get me that amazing garlic bread out of the oven? Do you want to use this?
Yeah.
So, grab hold of it with this lip here. Can you grab that bit? And you bring that over. Can you manage or not?
Yeah.
You got it? It's got a tight grip. Don't drop it. Come round the back of Poppy. You won't move over there. It is too good to drop. Right. So there is our amazing garlic bread. You can see how it's all proved up and lovely. So let me just, let's have a look at this. Right, basil in, yeah? Lemon juice in. Now push it to one side because I want to add the lemon juice to the emulsion, yeah? Like that. What we don't want to do is add it straight onto the pasta. Now, give us a little hand. We're going to just stir that together now. Yeah? And we're going to do the chefy thing where we just sort of, yeah, we do. Yeah? Right, there we go. I'm just going to turn this garlic bread out. Look at that. You see how it's all golden and baked on there? Yeah? And it's slid out really, really easily. Okay? And then what we're gonna do, Pops. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Look at this. Oh, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Oh, look at that. You got the mozzarella in the middle. Here you go. Have a taste. Tom, some garlic bread. Garlic bread. There you go. Have a little taste of that and tell me what you think. I shall serve this up.
I got a bit of rosemary.
You got a bit of rosemary there, did you? You have to wait. You have to wait. Right. Pasta. Straight on there. Look at that. Do you want to try prawn, Poppy?
I will.
You will? I know you. I thought you might. There we go. Super simple dish. Beautiful prawns. Pasta delicately cooked. 90 seconds. It doesn't need a long time. And then just brought together with some simple ingredients makes for an amazing midweek sample. Just pop it in. I'll let you this time.
Do I need to
It's all
take the
no,
tail
the
off?
tail is off. She doesn't believe me.
It's hot.
Okay. Are you trying one? You're trying the pasta, are you? Now, if you want the recipe, go to masterclass.co website and it will be there for you. If you have any questions at all about how we've made this, please post them. In between broadcasts, we're always on the Facebook page, checking it out, making sure everyone's kind of got the information they need. If you want to know any of the equipment that I use, just shout. We'll point you in the right direction if you want to get a pan, the pan that I use or whatever, it doesn't matter. But thank you very much for watching. We will be back on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. I'll be doing a masterclass cookery lesson of my own. Kids will be busy, but we'll be back on Saturday morning at 10. But thank you very much. Hope you have a great evening and I'll see you soon.